Alrighty, people. How you doing? How you living? How you feeling? It's been a minute since we've done any mock draft on the Dynasty channel, but we are back and we are happy to be here with you. I can promise you that this time next week we'll do a Dynasty rookie draft. A couple quarterbacks I still need to scout, tight ends, a couple tight ends I still need to scout, but we're getting close. And if you haven't had a chance to check out the 2025 wide receiver rookie rankings, that just released on the channel about 3 hours ago. Positive feedback. I thought I'd have more people yelling at me. But so far, so good. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. So what's up, Jay Ray? What's up, Waffle Boy? Yes, those will be next week. What's up, Brandon? Welcome in. Love it, man. What's up, Cole? Welcome in. Styles in the building. King Messiah, Shane. Styles says Dynasty season never ends. Indeed, Dynasty season never ends. We do appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hey, do us a favor as the stream is beginning. Smash that like button. We got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I think we can get there. I think we can reach that like goal altogether. Again, appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hit that like button to show some love. But all right, lots to talk about. So we're going to start off today's stream with a Dynasty startup mock draft. Now, here's what I will say. Badaki and I haven't done a startup mock draft since...
I have no idea.
Early August. So this will be... an experience for us as well, because we have not been in our flow with these Dynasty mock drafts. But I'm excited to kind of see where it all lands. I don't think ADP is going to be updated, so there will be a lot of differences of opinion, but we're really excited to get into it. And then once this mock draft is over, we will be reviewing people's Dynasty teams. We've got 3 teams to review right now. If you want your team reviewed, of course, you can get one in today. There's actually a pinned link in the comment where you can get your team review. There's a, obviously right there, make sure you link your team. Let's say I wanted to get my alpha team reviewed. Obviously, like, choose your league or your team name. Make sure your draft picks are correct. And then you've got Zach and Badaki here with Fantasy Land. Now, here's what I'll say. If you guys haven't heard yet, we've released it for about 3 weeks now, I think, and we've had incredible feedback. We did release the playbook here recently. All right, the Dynasty playbook, which has had incredible feedback. Your exact game plan to execute in order to have the best Dynasty team possible. Talking about, your untouchables, exact trade targets you should go out and acquire, what to do with your future draft picks, positional priorities, your main pathway forward, what your goals should be, and then we kind of help you kind of get to that point where you want to be. So we will, after the mock draft, be doing some team reviews, and anytime you buy a team review, you do get a playbook. Now, just so you guys know, the normal price right here is for the offline version of this. So if you buy, the $79 version or whatever it is, if you're a member, it's much cheaper. If you buy that version, it's an offline version, and that document will be sent to you within 48 hours. If you buy the other version, which is, I think, just $10 more, that is a guaranteed live review. So you'll also get the live review as well as a team playbook later. Again, once we finish reviewing your teams through the site, we'll put all your information into that document, into the team playbook, and that will be sent to your DMs within 48 hours. So you can either get one a la carte with the link in the website, or you can become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, and you'll automatically get a review with that yearly membership. And then our 2025 rookie report you'd get as well, which is going to release right before Christmas, version 1.0. The most viewed draft guide in the industry last year. If I'm not mistaken,
Orange Football, and then go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft, whether it's rookie, a Dynasty startup, and in the future, any other drafts that we'll do on our redraft channel. So once again, join our Discord Fantasyland tab with the Orange Footballs, go to announcements, and that's how you can join each and every mock draft. I think you need to join the mock draft before I send it out.
Say again, sorry?
And then you need to join the mock draft.
My bad. I'll go 6. I have no idea where to go.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for you. Let me just refresh. Unless it's not there.
I definitely clicked it. It didn't. Okay, now I should be good to go. I should be there. I'm there on my end.
Yeah. Okay, I just refreshed. All right, once again, announcements. That link is going out in 3, 2, 1. It is first come, first serve, and this is probably the best opportunity for you to join because not that many people are watching right now. And as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft, these are going to be a lot harder to join as well. So come through.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we still have
Take
I
advantage.
think, about 6 spots left. Again, when you join our Discord, link is in the chat. You'll see the announcements tab under Fantasyland. You'll see that link that Badaki just sent out there. You know, for the sake of filling this, I'm probably just going to send the link directly into the chat for now.
Yeah, go for it.
Just so we can fill this thing up. All right, the sleeper mock draft. The link is in the chat right now. We still have 6 spots. There's almost 60 of you guys watching. So definitely, if you want to have some fun, hang out. Oh my God, I just realized, what is up with the ADP?
Oh, that's what I told you before we joined.
You said rankings. I thought you said I was updating my flock rankings, and then you didn't say anything about ADP.
No, but I was like, look at the ADP because this wank, and I said they had Will Levis first.
What the hell? Well, this will be fun.
That's why I was like, you check the settings because I can't check the settings. I don't know. Maybe you need to reset it or do something. I don't know.
Let's try Dynasty 2 quarterback. How about that? That might help. It still has Will Levis. Maybe Sleeper has a glitch. We'll put 60 seconds on the clock to make things not so difficult. But all right, we are full. This is a Dynasty Superflex PPR tight end premium mock draft. You've got 2 flex spots. This is a start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's get it going here in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. ADP is weird. I'm not going to lie to you. The ADP is about as weird as it gets right now on Sleeper. Shout out to Sleeper. Hey, guys, do us a favor, by the way. Hit that like button to show some love. We got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I think we can get there. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. So excited to get back into the swing of Dynasty. We will have a Dynasty video for you now weekly. And then all the way up until the first week of January. And then in the second week of January, we will be posting multiple videos a week, like probably 3 days a week or something. And we're about to get into the nitty gritty of it all. I'm very excited to get into this season with you guys. Josh Allen goes 101, even though Will Levis is sitting there. I'm just kidding. Oh, Joe Burrow number 2, Jaden Daniels number 3. No surprises so far. I guess actually there is one surprise.
I mean,
okay, I was gonna say Lamar Jackson is probably the quarterback 1 in Dynasty, right?
Yeah, I mean that's where he's at for me right now. I think it's flip flopping between Lamar and Josh Allen. I mean, both of these guys have been phenomenal this year. So I mean, pick your poison. Doesn't really matter. I don't really care who goes first, but I think it's going to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
I think I'm going to switch it up here. Everybody's going. Oh my gosh, everybody's going quarterback. I'm going to go Jamar Chase. I think that was the end of a tier for me. Those first 5 in Dynasty right now.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of those 5, there are definitely names I still love, but I think there are a lot of question marks, and I'd rather just get the number 1 positional, not non-quarterback in my rankings there. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that is.
I think he just saw Click Jefferson is supposed to be Justin Jefferson.
Oh, okay. Let's make that Justin Jefferson for him, okay? Again, guys, you gotta be very intentional here with the ADP because it's all messed up right now on Sleeper. All right. I was like, wait, is that? I don't know who that is. Maybe I've been out of Dynasty too long. That's hilarious. All right, Justin Herbert goes at the 108. Jack, no, there isn't a way to do that. I mean, you can create a new account, but outside of that, no. But you know, that's the great part about our website is, you know, if you go to like this little button at the top, personal advice, you can actually get a team review from us, even if you're on a different code, right? I mean, plenty of people do that. When you go to the next spot, obviously, like pick your team name right, make sure your rookie picks are correct. But when you go to this spot, it'll probably automatically have Mason at the top. But if you want to come down to land and, you know, obviously if you want to get that live one, and that's just $10 more, but that's available to you as an all.
I just feel like this is just way too early. So I'm just going to go with the first guy I typed
Okay,
in.
yeah, I agree. It's way too early. Funnily enough, that was like the 101 for a lot of people just 6 months ago. That was a top 3 pick in this type of format 3 months ago, and it was my biggest sell high. You remember that? Got roasted for it, and I think it was the right call, to be honest. In hindsight, I don't think you would take him this early if the ADP was normal.
Nah. I wouldn't. I think I know where I would have gone. I probably would have gone. Actually, I'm not going to say because maybe they come back to me and I'll feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it won't hurt so much.
Pick.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see here. But yeah, that was just the first name I typed. I was just thinking about it. I was going through my
yeah.
rankings.
I've got my rankings up on the Flock site to give myself some bearings here. That's why I made it 60 seconds instead of 30, just to kind of give people some help in that way. But hey guys, appreciate y'all for watching the stream. Over 80 of you guys watching now. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. We're already over halfway to our like goal, which is 50. Really appreciate you guys showing love and being here. We are going to do some team reviews after this mock draft, but we're excited to be here with you. Malik Neighbors goes at the 111.
That's who was the guy on my queue. I was like, oh, let's see if he comes back to me, because I would have been happy to take him there. He is my wide receiver 3 currently.
Okay. I love Malik. I mean, look, I think that makes sense. My wide receiver 3 we'll talk about once he comes off the board, or maybe I'll end up drafting him. We'll see how this pans out. Yeah. Trying to keep up with the chat. No worries, Jack. Brandon says I freaked out because of ADP and I took Burrow over Lamar. That's okay. Yeah, I know, right? Style's pretty crazy. Can I trade here? 213 and 3-1 for the 2-1, please. Jack says stop begging for likes. Please, guys, please hit the like button.
You triggered him. You got him.
You got me so good, brother. Man, it's hot as hell in here. So JJ McCarthy at the 201. That's another surprise. Yeah, I am a little bit surprised by how this is going, but I think ADP is a big reason why. I think that's why we'll see some differences. By the way, hit that like button if you haven't hit the like button yet. I don't think I've said that so far.
It's also a glitch that you can't see who is like active either. Normally there'll be like a bubble next to everything.
Maybe they're doing some updates on the back end. Style says, did you like it though? What's up, Zane says, thanks so much, guys. Drop the like. We'll enjoy on repeat. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, Brock Bowers. I was wondering when he might go. I mean, the guy looks like Travis Kelce for a decade at this point, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, not a bad pick there.
I don't hate that at all. With so many question marks at quarterback, just solidifying like the very clear #1 tight end. It's not even close. If you drafted him in rookie drafts, you're feeling like an absolute champion right now. It says Brock would have been next for me. Knives says Styles is upset. Yes, no trading, unfortunately. No trading. Sanders going to throw to him? Yeah, he could. He could. Puka Nacua off the board at the 203.
Wow. Okay. Well, those 2 wide receivers, my 3 and 4.
Okay.
Let's see, Lamb.
All right, CeeDee Lamb comes off the board. My wide receiver 3 is still available.
I'll take him there.
But I do like CeeDee Lamb. He's my wide receiver 4, but I do love me some CeeDee here.
I like Jordan Love too.
Jordan Love goes off the board. I thought that was an option as early as the 106, but felt like I was pushing the envelope a little bit too early there. Yeah.
You can, if you guys are struggling with ADP, guys, what you could do is make an account on Flock Fantasy, and you can just use expert consensus rankings
Yeah,
on
you
there
could.
to be. That's not even like that's
No,
not just a
it's
genuine
not a
thing.
promo. It's literally like,
It
yeah,
sounds
you
like
can
a promo, but you
hit the like button.
can do. Yeah.
Stop begging for likes. Yeah, no, I mean, if you guys create a free account, you'll have expert consensus rankings for Dynasty Superflex for free. If you're going to sign up, you can get a free account with the code LAND. Anyway, my wide receiver 3 is still available, and I guess we're going to build around the wide receivers. Nico Collins, welcome at the 207. You know, I don't see a reason why Nico isn't a top 3 wide receiver in ADP. Do you know what I mean? Or in Dynasty rankings. I struggle to see why he wouldn't be. I mean, for a while, I'm not saying you made the wrong pick, by the way, Badaki, but for a while, I was like, I can't put him ahead of CeeDee Lamb. That's what I kept telling myself. You can't do that. You can't put him ahead of CeeDee Lamb. Well, CeeDee Lamb is 25. He has a long-term contract. All right? Well, Nico Collins is 25. He has a long-term contract, right? Both have good quarterbacks. You could argue, in my opinion, that Nico Collins is set up even better for the future if you want to think about it from a dynasty perspective. So right after Chase and Jefferson, it's Nico Collins for me. I'll take Nico over Neighbors, Amon-Ra, CeeDee, and Puka, but I all think those guys didn't get like overdrafted or anything. I'm just saying, like, I don't see why he isn't top 3 for everybody. That's just my humble opinion, though.
Yeah, look, the argument is definitely there for Nico. I guess pick your poison. Pick who you want.
Yeah.
I think maybe people are scared that, you know, we saw what happened with Stephon Diggs this year. Do they get another guy like Stephon Diggs to come in and take away those opportunities? But even with Stephon Diggs was there, Nico was still getting an opportunity. But look, they signed Dak Prescott to a long-term contract. They don't have a wide receiver 2 on that team. They're probably going to prioritize a running back next year, because that's what they've been struggling with. Maybe they go all offensive. Running back, a wide receiver 2. Gosh, imagine they get Genty and then sign T. Higgins to a crazy deal, which they probably can't.
Sure.
They have to think about.
You know,
they got to think about what's his name, Michael Parsons.
I was a little bit nervous about like that wide receiver room before this offseason with Tank Dell and Diggs, but I think Nico's made it very clear that he is
100%.
one of the best players in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not even at his position. He is one of the best players in the NFL. He is the complete full package. There we go. JSN off the board. Do I need to get the jersey out? Do I need to? I'll get it out. I'll do it. I'll freaking do it if you want to see it. Sheesh. We've been waiting, people. We've been waiting. It's finally here. The time has finally come, ladies and gentlemen. Revel in your stocks if you had JSN. Everyone said, oh, you were wrong on JSN, Zach. You're stupid. You don't know what you were doing. Just give it time, damn it.
You're not wrong, just early.
Yeah, not wrong early. You know, it was funny because I said he was a can't-miss prospect, and that tag, because I said it so much in the 23 class, Badaki, that tagging him a can't-miss prospect, followed me all last year in the comment sections. Really? Last year you said JSN was a can't-miss prospect, so it's good to see him finally be the player we thought he could be. You know what I mean? So I'll get off my high horse. All right.
Come down. We're here. We're all in it together. You know.
What's up, Dynasty Domain? Welcome in. The ADP is absolutely wild. I don't know if that is Avery or Nathan, but welcome in, gang. Brian Thomas off the board. Damn it, Styles! Damn it!
That's who I had on my queue.
You don't need 3 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds, Styles!
It's already happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck!
It's already happening.
God damn it! All right, that's fine.
Styles always goes 3 quarterbacks too, like for no reason.
That's so you're pissing me off, kid.
To be honest, we always get upset, but anyways, you're on the podcast.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is I'm going to draft another player that you and I got clowned on all offseason. Every rookie ranking for the 24 class, every time, without fail, comments were, Bo Nix, disgusting. There's no way you can have Bo Nix as your 108 in rookie drafts. That's disgusting. There's no way he can be that high. He's a clear bust. He's the most obvious bust we've ever seen. He's going to a terrible team in Denver. Well, How about it now? How about it now? Read and weep. And it's great to see him doing his thing, man. I mean, true rookie of the year type of contender, I'd say.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna go for next. If it wasn't Drake, it was Bo, and I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult. Which makes me feel like I should have took Jordan Love because I still like some wide receivers that is on the board.
That's right, Steven. I love it, Styles. Yeah, I think May went too late. I think Knicks went too late. Yeah, I do. I agree, Proofy. ADP is a little bit of a blessing right now. Styles says, pro tip, join a Dynasty startup right after the fantasy season. Sleeper buries dudes in ADP. No rookie picks today, guys. No rookie picks today. We're actually working on that.
Working
Don't
on
worry,
that stuff for you guys.
We'll get that ready here soon. Don't worry. What are you thinking here? It's gonna start getting really tough in like rounds 7 and 8.
I'm probably gonna pivot and just go to another wide receiver here. I'm gonna go Drizzy.
Okay. Drake London off the board. I don't hate that at all. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Drake London comes off the board. I mean, he's been everything you wanted and more, this year. It's been great to see him be a true alpha. Darnell Mooney obviously doing his thing too, but obviously London has that profile that you want to build around long term.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to victory lap. All right. I am kind of, but I feel like the amount of Michael Penix I got at the 205 this year is going to be feeding generations. The amount of Michael Penix sitting on my taxi squads, it's going to absolutely feed my kids and their kids. And I'm excited about it.
My kids and their kids. We'll see. We'll see. My thing has always been, I think he gets 2 years. But I mean, yeah, he's not playing up to standard right now, to be fair.
Liam says he got Knicks at the 201 and Penix at the 208. I mean, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. That's exactly what, I mean, we were both advocating for Bo Nix Badaki, but I was very strong on that. Hey, take as much Michael Penix as you can possibly get. I think you've set yourself up really well for the future. AJ Brown at the 312. It's been tough to watch Jalen Hurts and what this offense has looked like with the passing game. Saquon's killing it, but with the passing game in particular.
Yeah, it's been frustrating. He's been wide open multiple times, and Jalen is throwing to somebody else that is also wide open. But it doesn't help your fantasy team.
Unfortunately, it doesn't, does it? All right, Rashee Rice goes at the 311. That was definitely going to be my next pick if he was available. So glad to see I'm not insane. Glad to see I'm not going crazy. Yeah, no rookies today, guys. No rookies today. We're still working on getting that into the rotation for you guys. There goes Roma Dunze at the 402. Breece Hall at the 403. How the mighty have fallen. I wanted to talk about Breece Hall. I'm glad Cole just drafted him. It feels like I've only been in the redraft space, comment sections, but it feels like people have lost most of their hope in Breece Hall at this point. He's the RB5 on KTC, which lines up where he was drafted here. But gosh, I am a little surprised personally how out people are on Breece Hall right now.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out who I should go next. Where I should go.
That's okay.
This is tough with no ADP.
Yeah, no ADP. This is how you know if you know your rankings well enough or not. And you and I have not.
I haven't done it.
There's no way Daniel Badaki just drafted Chris Olave. There is no way that's happened here. I love it. I absolutely love it.
mean, look, I'm not a big Chris Olave. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not about the talent, it's the situation. I think the Saints could be in contention of getting a quarterback, another bridging quarterback. Derek Carr's not the answer. New head coach is most likely going to be coming in. Does a new GM come in? There's so much that's going to be happening and moving parts with the Saints. I think they just have to. Ladd is somebody else as well.
Fuck.
I wanted to see how far he fell. I had him, and I was like, oh, I'll just go for Chris Olave right now.
Excuse my French, but damn it. All right, is Justin Herbert still available?
Nah, he went at the 108, brother.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm an idiot. My bad. That's on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You never go full R word, do you? And Anthony Richardson's already been drafted, of course.
Yeah, he has been.
Well, I think we're gonna hit up.
Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, please. Because I'm waiting.
Well,
I'm waiting.
Lucky for you. I'm gonna probably take Tua here.
Okay, that's fine.
I think he, when he had that concussion, kind of in the midst of it, I made a video talking about him being one of the easiest buys in Dynasty. I don't think you can buy him for the same prices anymore, but he was a pretty solid buy at that point. But yeah. Style says happy to get the May T stack. Yeah, T would be the perfect fit, in New England for sure. Dustin says, does Marvin feel like he's getting the same hate as JSN this same time last year? Are you buying? Well, the issue is JSN, he just wasn't getting the target share we really wanted to see. I think that was what was frustrating.
Is huge. Yeah, the situational is different because Marvin goes straight into wide receiver 1 with an established quarterback that has proven to produce wide receivers. Not saying Geno hasn't or didn't, but he just has a longer history of doing that. And not only that, JSN was going with DK and Tyler Lockett at the time, so I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but I can see some parallels, but I think it is a little bit different. Gonna have to change the clock to 30 seconds, just for the sake of time.
So get your cues going, ladies and gentlemen, as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, for the sake of time, because we need to get to some of these reviews here soon. T's such a great pick. He was definitely going to be my next option there. I was looking at Ladd and T, and I just was looking at the quarterbacks, and I thought Justin Herbert was there. It made me feel safer, but alas, he wasn't, and I had to snag him up a little bit there. Just had to do it to you. There goes Ken Walker off the board.
Oh God, do it to you.
Yeah, Sparrow, great question, man. How do we feel about Jonathan Brooks tearing his ACL? One of the saddest, truly, one of the saddest stories for a prospect. I mean, in how long? It feels like in a very, 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 very long time. It's devastating.
Yeah, I mean, look, in a dynasty perspective, I was literally telling this to Zach before we got on stream. I was like, you're probably not going to get anything this year because it was similar in timeline of the injury. I think he probably tore his ACL a couple weeks before, like earlier the first time. He tears it again this year. I don't know.
By the way,
I think
I had to change this to 30 seconds on the clock. Sorry. Just want to let everybody know. So 30 seconds on the clock. Get your cues ready. I'm going to take Bucky Irving here. Is that too early? I don't care. I'm going to take the kid here at the 506. I mean, where does he rank for you? I don't want to change the conversation too quick, so we won't do that just yet. Finish, your conversation there. and then let's talk about Bucky when we come back to it. But what were you saying? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
The Jonathan Brooks situation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks situation. Okay, well, I'm going to.
Well, I'll just say my thoughts on it while you're.
I'm just gonna take Bryce Young.
Okay, yeah. I like it. Guy that you and I really liked as a buy this offseason. It looked terrible, but now it's looking like
he's playing great right now.
Better, at least.
Hopefully.
Okay, Jonathan Brooks. Again, one of the saddest, situations for a prospect in a long time. This is like Jameson Williams times 2. Because if you think about it, he tore his ACL late in the year and then again late in the year. I mean, when will he be available next year? We don't know. Is he available in December of next year? Is it going to take him 12 months again? These are questions you have to ask yourself.
Yeah,
and with Chuba getting the long-term contract and thinking about the fact that you might not have any usage from Jonathan Brooks until year 3 and he's on a 4-year rookie deal, it's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't want to say dead asset, but I feel like it's getting close to it. It's getting close to the point. It's like, all right, you just have to hope for a new situation. Because if you told me he tore his ACL and Chuba Hubbard didn't sign a long-term contract extension, okay, so they still believe in him. They still want to bring him in, but I don't know. I think it might be tough.
Chuba should have waited. He would have. Imagine how much money you could demand right now.
Yeah, that's crazy if you think about it that way. But yeah, I agree.
Let's ask the chat, guys. Do you think Brooks's career is over, or do you think he's a buy low? I just need one word or one statement: buy low or career's over. That's all you need to tell us. I want to see what the overall consensus is here. As James Cook comes off the board at the 603, I like this strategy here from Wes P at the 11 spot to get Penix and Dak, building a really nice young team. That's a real cool strategy. I like that.
I'm take Joe Mixon.
All right, Joe Mixon comes off the board. There's a player in which I wasn't sure. Oh, there he is. Okay, Jaden Reed comes off the board. I was like, I think I'm about to get a steal here. He's left a bad taste in our mouth. But I thought he was a good value there. And I think another good value here is Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk, signs that long-term deal, tears his ACL, but it's earlier in the season. I think he'll be ready to go week 1 of 2025. I think the 49ers, it's very obvious to me, they can't stay pat. They have to change something, right? I don't know exactly what that means, but they have to change something. I think Ayuk either gets traded or they trade away Deebo Samuel. Like, they're gonna have to figure something out long term just with the money. They've already said they want to sign Brock Purdy long term as well. So yeah, I'll get Brandon Ayuk there. I think he's a great buy low. I bought him in a lot of dynasty leagues when I'm not competing. And yeah, how about Jaden Reed though? At the 605, I think that's a really good value. The goose egg is fresh in people's minds. But if you look at Badaki from year to date, if you just look year to date, and you look at fantasy points scored at the wide receiver position, he is top 7 in that number. Year to date, from this year all the way back to last year, 365 days, he is top 7 in total fantasy points scored in that calendar year. I think he's still undervalued.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know me, I like Jaden Reed. Obviously, it was very disappointing him scoring nothing. But yes, very undervalued here, and some good Chuba Hubbard going on there at the 6'6". I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree.
We are on the same page. All right, so the overall consensus, by the way, about Brooks's career, we've got Jack who says his career's over. We've got a couple people saying buy low. A lot of people saying buy low. Chris says it's over. Xavier says buy low and sell high when he has one come-up game. Sparrow's indifferent, basically. Not going to buy him, not going to sell him. And yeah, that definitely makes sense. If you own him, it's probably a terrible time to sell him. So you're just going to hold. In that scenario, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I see a lot of people comparing it to SEAP or J.K. Dobbins. I think what's different about him is that they just signed his value was already low with him coming back because they signed Chuba Hubbard to an extension.
Yeah.
Right. So now it just makes it even worse. So it's like, well, if Chuba Hubbard's going to be establishing himself in the next year and a half now, next year, it's going to be like, oh shit, well, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Can't undo auto picks due to time here, guys, but just letting you guys know as we go here. Yeah, I'm devastated for Jonathan Brooks, man. Devastated. It's about as bad as it gets. All right, CMC comes off the board. You know, I'm a little surprised that this guy hasn't gone yet. I do think this is probably, again, ADP playing a part. But Tyrone Tracy, I'll take as my RB2 here. If you told me I could get a startup like this, you're lying. You're telling me I can get Bo Nix and Tua. Okay, Tua is not great. I think he's a fine quarterback too. I can have a wide receiver room of Chase, Collins, Ayuk, and I can have 2 young bucks like Bucky and Tyrone. I mean, shoo. Y'all better be careful. I'm about to turn this into a real league on your ass. Just kidding.
I definitely had on my queue. That was my next pick there.
Oh, was it? Okay.
GG's. Yeah.
Styles, you know what? I think this is the best, most real statement I've heard in a long time. I was actually thinking about this recently because I was thinking about it in the redraft cycle, Badaki, because we did our cheat sheet for Fantasyland football. And I thought to myself, you know, if there wasn't ADP on all these sites, I think that would actually make fantasy football way more fun, and it would mean more. You know what I mean? I think this is an incredible statement. I can't agree with it anymore. If we took away ADP, I think it would show who's actually good and who's just, you know, having a good time. And that's, you know, there's nothing wrong with just having a good time, by the way, but.
No, I had someone on my queue. Fuck. Too late.
Who is on your queue?
It was Chris Godwin.
All right, I'll get you Godwin here. There you go.
Okay, cool.
Turn our auto queue off here.
Auto pick off.
That's a damn steal for Ingram.
Commission piece.
But I agree with Styles here, man. I think if ADP was turned off, I think they should have a setting to turn off ADP.
I think it would just make more people. It would give more people. What's the word? The saying. You'll be more inclined to do your own rankings, essentially.
Yeah. Or just like kind of research.
That's kind of what we do now. Yeah, exactly. Where Sleeper is doing all the research for you.
Goes Mark Ingram, which is damn steal.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it essentially.
What's up, Tunchi? Who even is C. Johnson? I mean, let's all learn today. You don't know C.J. Johnson, superstar, wide receiver? Come on. Yeah, it's rough. All right, Footloose here drafts Quentin Johnston. Yeah, we're about to get really off the rails here, I think, as we get further and further into ADP.
Maybe we'll call this one last round.
Maybe let's go to round 9, and then we'll get to some of these reviews.
No, I'm just gonna take a tight end. I'll just take TJ.
Okay. There is another name Okay, wow. TJ that late is actually kind of nutty. I'm not going to lie to you. That's an incredible pick, Badaki. Here's what I'll say. I am surprised that there's a certain wide receiver still available, but this is another ADP thing. Actually, I just saw he went off the board. I thought it was Jordan. I thought Jordan Addison was available, but he's clearly not. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's who I wanted. That's what I was looking for before I looked up Chris Godwin.
Sutton's not a bad pick either. Yeah. You know what? I think we should put some respect on Jameson Williams. No? I'll take Jameson Williams here.
Some respect.
That makes him my flex at this point. My last flex spot. I like that a lot. This is a fun team. I'm sorry, Proofy. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is going to be the last round. This is just chaotic without ADP. We tried. I appreciate everybody for being here. This was really fun. But the stream isn't stopping. We're going to still keep the stream going. In fact, we've got a couple of teams that we need to review. Do us a favor, though. Hit that like button to show some love. We already hit our like goal of 50. You guys are incredible. Jack's going to hate it. He's going to hate it. But we are asking you to hit that like button to show some love. So we appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Let's go ahead and end this bad boy because, let's be honest, at this point, we've exercised all of our demons that we could possibly exercise. But I do appreciate y'all for being here. Shout out to Cole Nicholson, Sean, and Proofy. We are about to review their teams. If you guys are out there and you want your team reviewed, there's 2 ways you can get it reviewed, all right? First way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. All right, so that's the first way. You can go to flockfantasy.com/land. Sign up to be a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, right? I'll put that link in the chat, all right? We think that's the best bang for your buck. Not only do you get the team review, but you'll also be able to see our 2025 rookie report, which releases before Christmas. We're very excited about that. And our rookie report goes very in depth on like the actual scouting of the film, which is something we take a lot of pride in. The other way that you can get your team playbook is by using the link that is pinned in the chat. I'll put it in there again. This is the a la carte link. All right. And again, if you want your team reviewed, that link is going to take you to a site that looks like this. You can see the team review button. If you don't have an account yet, again, use the promo code LAND to create an account or to sign up. And then once you click next, you have your team all linked. Make sure you click the right team. This is my team. Make sure the rookie picks are correct. Go to the next spot here, and then you'll see Zach and Badaki here with Fantasyland. Here, the regular one is a playbook. That's the offline version. You only have to pay $10 more to get a live review and make sure that we live stream your review, which we're doing for these guys here. But yeah, again, if you want to do that, the links are in the chat. And then this is what the team playbook looks like. Yeah, so this will be available to you 48 hours after your review is finished, okay? So if you get that live version, 48 hours after you... here is the first review of the day. Appreciate you, C. Nicholson. I've already set up his chalkboard, which we got ready to go. And why don't you go ahead and read his context here?
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you for being patient. He says, I also have another 27 first and a second from the Brees Hall team. Trading is somewhat active, especially around draft time. This is my second season with the team. I took over just before the 2023 rookie draft. The most active players to trade with is the Brees Hall team. Looking forward to the review. All right, C. Nicholson, we appreciate you, man. Mighty Marv Power Ranger. You like Power Rangers growing up?
I don't think I was allowed to watch it.
You lived in one of those households, did you?
Yeah.
No Harry Potter, no Power Rangers,
nope.
No nothing really. No water guns.
What's quarter guns?
Water guns.
Of course I have water guns. That's silly.
Yeah, water guns, but you couldn't watch Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Everyone
had a water gun growing up.
And you couldn't watch Power Rangers?
No.
Do you see how that's that's confusing to me? Anyways.
No, I don't, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We can talk about it later.
So his team name is Mighty Marv Power Rangers. He is currently 9th. So
he's with us.
He is with us. It's looking desperate here. I'm not going to lie as far as where you currently rank amongst expert consensus rankings. You're currently 9th. And, it looks rough. We'll have to look at what your team looks like here. But it looks like you got a project on your hands.
Yeah, this is a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8 PPR. Cole, if you can just confirm all that is correct. So this will be a start 8, 1 QB. And
yes.
Put that in the chat here.
Yes, like you said, 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. So if you're a start 8 and a 1 quarterback, you're kind of that meat and potatoes type of lineup. 2 flex spots, 2 wide receivers. That's kind of what we just did in that mock draft, but it's not super flex. It's a 1 quarterback league instead. But yeah, let's have a look. Again, like we said, right now you're ranked 9th. So let's have a look at the team here in a 1-quarterback league. You got Burrow, Mayfield, Lawrence. That's great. That's probably more than what you need. Burrow, Mayfield's more than enough. At running back, you have Chase Brown, and that's it. There's no one else. At wide receiver, you've got Marvin, Zay, Ricky, Johnston, Shaheed, Wicks. It's pretty bare out here outside of the top 2. You got some potential with Ricky Pearsall there. And then at tight end, you have Kyle Pitts, and it's been about as disappointing as it possibly could be for Kyle Pitts this year. Well, I guess. I mean, he's having career highs, so it's not looking good right now. You have 3 first-round picks, all right, and including your own. You have 2 second-round picks. You have a lot of 4th-rounders. In 2026, you also have 2 first-round picks. So this is kind of where you're hoping that the team is built from these picks. The Flock Fantasy site ranks you number 1. I'm going to give you an A+ rank on this draft capital. I mean, you've got, a really bad team, but you've got a really good amount of draft picks to try and fill those holes.
Yeah.
So that's a really good spot to be in. And again, with like a league like this, thinking about positional priorities, I'd say like wide receiver and running back are number 1, number 2. And then probably quarterback, tight end, or tight end quarterback. But definitely wide receiver, running back are the most important positions to nail. And hopefully we can do that in the 2025 class. But yeah, I would say Marvin Harrison is really your only untouchable name. And I'm not even sure he's untouchable. But in a 1 quarterback, I think Marvin is probably your only untouchable name. If anything, I would also add your own first-round pick. Right? You have a first-round pick from Girls in Run CMC. Girls, whereas Run CMC is definitely in the playoffs. Girls is 18-8. They're in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say your untouchables are Marvin Harrison and your own first-round pick. All right. Outside of that, I'm going to say, yeah, I mean, you don't really have an untouchable. I think you can drop Eric Gray pretty easily. I think you can drop Memes pretty easily. Jaheim Bell was a fun project, but time to move on. These are all names that you can drop if you need to when the draft comes around and, you need to clear up some space on your roster. I think if we're looking at holds, there are a couple names that come to mind. I feel like Chase is worth holding for this team.
I agree.
And hoping that the Bengals go throughout the offseason without addressing the position. The other hold, I would probably say Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. Ricky Pearsall with question marks of Brandon Ayuk. What's going to look like for CMC? Do they move on from George Kittle? I think one of these guys, or maybe 2 of these guys, are going to have to get off this team when they thinks about salary cap, signing Brock Purdy, and maybe, once again, at the wide receiver position, Ricky can step up into that Debo role. Brandon Ayuk, when is he going to be ready for next year? So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get to the chalkboard, shall we? And let's come up with some ideas here. If I'm not mistaken, your trade deadline has already passed. Right? So it's not something that we'll really focus too much on right now. I definitely think we can look at selling one of Burrow or Baker or Trevor. I'd say like trade candidates. Again, like Burrow, Baker, T-Law. I don't think you need all these guys. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to give you any value. So I'm not sure we're really going to be able to sell him. But these are names that are definitely expendable on your roster. I don't think you can sell anyone else. Like, you can't sell Kyle Pitts for anything. You can't sell Michael Mayer. You can't sell Quentin Johnston or, I feel like Zay is a strong hold. Yeah, you could sell Chase Brown, but again, I think his playoffs already happened, or his deadline already happened. Yeah, so
look, I think it just depends on the team that you build, right? So like hypothetically, let's just say in this scenario you get Genty, and let's just say you get who is it? Marion Hampton, hypothetically. Maybe Chase Brown is somebody you can sell um in that weird space, but it just all depends on who they're going to get on his team. If they're going to bring in somebody better, so it's either got to risk it and hold it, or risk it and sell high now. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Sure. Just looking at your draft capital here and kind of bringing it all together, so we can see it in the chalkboard. Again, 2 picks in 2026. That's great to see. All right, so we'd love to see that. In 2025, you're absolutely stacked with draft capital. You have 3 4th-round picks. You have a 3rd. You have 2 seconds, and like we said, you do have 3 firsts, but both of those firsts that aren't yours are late firsts. So I can't sit here and say like I'm obsessed with those picks, but it should be a pretty decent back into the first for like running backs if you have that need. He says he also has a 27 first and second from the Breece Hall team.
Yeah, so the Breece Hall team is number 3. Zoom Breece Apocalypse.
Is that because you sold them Breece Hall? Or
well, I think maybe, but he's also said he's the most active as well. I have another 27 first and a second from the Breece Hall team. Trading is somewhat active, especially around the draft time. I took over, right? Most active player to trade with is Breece Hall team, right? Which is team 3.
Yeah, I think like you can tentatively shop Chase Brown, and then find out if that deal is worth the risk or not of, seeing if, you're going to be interested in selling him or not. But all right, so this first round pick is your own. It's going to be early. I think you're probably looking at like, I don't think you're going to be an Ashton Genty, but I don't know exactly what your league looks like. I think, there's a lot of other wide receivers up for grabs. So I'll just say wide receiver, because I think you can go Burden. I think you can go T-Mac. I think you can go Hunter if he actually declares as a wide receiver. But then after that, I also think like Omarion Hampton is in consideration. Caleb Johnson is in consideration. I think those are the names that you're probably targeting there, depending on if you're like the 102 to the 103. I don't know exactly where you might be. But with these other picks, like these late firsts, I haven't really done my rankings just yet. But of course, if Hampton and Caleb are there, they're great options. Let me pull up my my rankings so I can tell you other running backs that you could target at this point. Because there's definitely going to be running backs that we love.
Running backs in this
in
class,
the late
yeah.
first. I mean, so Travion Henderson comes to mind there. Names like Quinshon Judkins comes to mind. For me, Woody Marks comes to mind.
Seeing a lot.
Brashard Smith comes to mind. What's up, Lukey Raj? And then I would say that's the same for the other first, because those are both going to be very late firsts. In the second, it's too early to know who to target. I mean, names like DJ Giddens could make sense. Who I love. Your Devin Neal type of running backs could make sense. Dylan Sampson, Bucky's friend, Jordan James, who is a very good running back in his own right. Jarquez Hunter, I really like a lot. Nick Singleton, I'm not going to lie. I mean, in that championship game in the Big Ten, he looked like the freshman version of himself, so I'm going to have to reassess him. But I think you got a lot of opportunities. Yes, Shrimpy, Woody Marks in the first. I am being for real. If he gets a draft capital, I don't see a reason not to take him there.
Lock it in.
But yeah, I think you've got a ton of options at running back here. A ton of options available to you. So you're going to fill that spot pretty easily, which is obviously a huge area of need for you. But let's just play like a hypothetical here, Badaki. Okay, so he gets Omarion Hampton, or let's say he gets T-Mac, then he goes out and he gets Travion Henderson with his next pick, and then let's say he gets Judkins. He gets both of them. Then in round number 2, he lands a Dylan Sampson, I don't know, Jordan James, just as an example. I mean, you're in that position.
Not a running back, I guess.
in that position, you know, you have T-Mac, so that improves your wide receiver room, or Burden, or whoever your wide receiver is there. And then you just completely chock full your running back room with Henderson, Judkins, Sampson, Jordan James, Chase Brown. That instantly kind of turns you into a contender if some of those guys hit as rookies. If those guys get second-round capital and they're clear starters, you can go out and compete next year. So,
is this a one-year punt for you, or this is like a full rebuild?
I think we're in the middle of the punt. So, yeah, I'd say a one-year punt. But, again, I think we're in the middle of that punt. So,
yeah,
I don't think you're punting next year. I think you're kind of like cautiously, you know, I think you're a sleeper team next year.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be interesting looking at what the draft is going to look like. I'm started my scouting process, obviously, since our roles have changed, it's a little bit different for me. And the more I look into it, the more I feel like it's just very top heavy.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be much. It's not going to be much depth to this draft, which is compared to last year, is going to be very difficult. So I'm also.
I think it's top heavy for like guaranteed hits, but I still think there is some decent depth, like, you know, at running back. And honestly, the wide receiver class surprised me. It's definitely not as good as 2024. I think the wide receiver class is better than 2023. I think it's overall a better class in 2023.
Well, yeah, I don't know much, but I know, like, I remember 2023, there was 3 wide receivers that went in the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
4.
I think.
Right.
4.
Because you had Jason, Johnston, Zay, and Addison.
Addison, you're right. And then this year, we're projecting probably 3, at least from what I understand.
3 depends on if Travis Hunter declares as a wide receiver or not.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, I don't think he will, but yes.
Well, you know, I love the guys over at NFL Stock Exchange, Trevor Sikkema and Connor Rogers, and they made the case, which I thought was very smart. Why wouldn't he declare as a wide receiver? Because either way, he could go number 1 overall. But if he declares it a wide receiver, number 1, they get paid higher than cornerbacks. Number 2, they last longer in the NFL in their prime. So a cornerback isn't getting a huge deal at the age of 28, you know, typically at least. I mean, a wide receiver, why not? Let's pay Terry McLaurin, the highest paid guy at his position, you know, at the age of 28, 29. So they made the case of, if he wants to set himself up for the future, why wouldn't he declare as a wide receiver? Because you can be in your prime longer. You know, there's less wear and tear on your body to an extent. And, you know, if you go full time at that position, there's a chance you could become even better at it, and, you know, you can make more money. But anyway, we don't know. I have no idea what he's going to declare.
Yeah, we don't know. I have no idea. But
all right.
All right. So 1 year punt, A+ in the draft capital, and with all those
Let's talk about some potential trade targets out there. All right. So I think we need to try and sell one of these quarterbacks. Let's try and find a team that needs quarterback, and at least it's a 12-team league, so that might be possible. For example, the guy who has Tua, Dak, and Penix, I mean, is he interested in a Joe Burrow, right? Could we sell Joe Burrow for Rashee Rice range? You know? Can we turn Joe Burrow into Rashee Rice? I don't know what that plus is. I mean, can you get like a second and send Joe Burrow in a third? I don't think you can. I think you're going to have to pay a straight up price for him.
Sure.
I'm comfortable with it. I know some people don't. You know, they've been doubting Rashee Rice for a while. I've been asking you guys to buy him for a while. I think that paid off before the injury, and I still think it will. It's obvious to me he's so needed in this team. All right, how about the guy who has Purdy, Goff, and Fields? Do you think you can snag your way into a Lab McConkey? I think you might be able to do the second on top of this, maybe. But Lab McConkey in a second, Joe Burrow in a third.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
We've got someone who has Drake May, Stafford. I mean, they're probably not interested. But I wouldn't hate the idea of like a Olave, Ayuk type of option where we go Joe Burrow. I think you can definitely get a second for Ayuk on top of Joe Burrow. I think you can probably get Ayuk in a second straight up. Let's see. There's a team who has one quarterback, and they're about the worst team I've ever seen. That is probably the worst team I've ever seen in my life. There's literally nothing worth even asking them about. They don't even have their own first round pick. What are they doing? Wow.
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty. It's a tough one.
Outside of that, I don't think anyone's really going to need quarterback.
Team finalist.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is going to need a quarterback. But we can go through. We can go through and think about trades where we send away Baker Mayfield as well. You're just not going to get as much, especially in a one quarterback. But we can lower our bar on those same teams if they want to invest in Baker instead of Burrow. So, for example, like you're looking at probably the Darnell Mooney range, Keon Coleman. With that team, I don't think they're going to give you a running back that's worthwhile there. Jamison Williams, Tank Dell, maybe.
Yeah. I think in these scenarios, yeah, I guess you guys kind of just shooting to get some more depth at the wide receiver position.
Would you take a shot on Jerry Jeudy and like try and do like a second and third swap? Like, I don't think people still believe in Jerry Jeudy yet. I'd take a shot on him there if that even gets your foot in the door to start a conversation. But I think you're very limited right now with trades with this team. I think it's very clear you need draft capital. You're not going to trade your draft capital, and you're really going to build through the draft. But these are some trade ideas I think that could make a lot of sense. My favorite would be the Lab McConkey, Rashee Rice deals. I love the idea of turning Baker Mayfield into Jamison Williams or Tank Dell, and I love the Jerry Jeudy deal as well.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right.
That's good.
Appreciate you, Cole. Can you let us know if you have any other questions here? Right now, in our opinion, Cole, I think you should hold on to Chase Brown. I think he's worth holding right now. I mean, here's the thing, like if Chase Brown just continues to dominate, they might ask themselves, do we need to draft a running back? Do we need to spend high investment in a running back? Because right now he's dominating. He looks great. So I don't think you really need to sell him. But if you were to sell him, it would be for like a wide receiver that's currently undervalued, like a Rashee Rice type of name. I think honestly, Cole, I personally feel like the draft capital that you have perfectly fits the needs of your team. So I don't see a reason to trade them right now. But of course, as we get closer to, April, maybe we know a little bit more about where this class stands and how people value it. But right now, I really like the back end of the first for your needs specifically as a team. I think it perfectly fits your team right now.
Yeah, I would just say this for Chase Brown. If someone comes to me with a first in like 2026, I don't think I would take another first in 25 because you have so much right now that I don't think sending Chase Brown essentially for another running back is going to be something that you need, right? But you can't predict an early 26 first round pick, but if you just want to do that for an early 26 pick or mid 26 pick, if that is the case, that's maybe something I would take a chance on, because we say it every year, like, teams, no one's going to draft a running back on this team. This team doesn't need a running back. Not saying this for the Bengals. And then it happens, right? Like no one expected Zach Charbonnet to go to the Seahawks, right? Which is frustrating.
Yeah.
So I would just wait and see. And if someone does come to you with a good offer, I would be really interested in it.
Yeah.
But
he says, okay, cool. I got Chase and Pitts for a late first this year. Yeah, I mean, that looks okay right now. But if that late first was like Lad McConkey, I think people would rather build around Lad. So it's just too early to say. Like, sorry, my dog was leaving. the house. But yeah, I think it's too early to say if you should sell those first. But I am planning in like each month, January, February, March, April, I'm gonna make a video where I tell you what your first round picks are worth, and then you can kind of decide. I did that video before the offseason, and JSN was the best buy of my opinion for a late first in 2025. So like those type of videos I'll be making. But yeah, your team playbook will be sent to you within 48 hours over on the message tab of the Flock Fantasy website. Cole, we appreciate you big time. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Yeah, so that, we'll have your playbook completely filled out to exact details, all the trade ideas, a chalkboard will be filled out, and it'll be completely personalized to your team. It'll kind of give you that extra direction of where to go this offseason. If you guys are watching this and you want your team playbook, there's 2 ways you can get it. First way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. If you become a yearly member, you also get our 2025 Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide, which will come out before Christmas. And you get a team playbook as well, when you become a yearly member. Now, if you aren't a yearly member, or you don't want to become a yearly member, or you have a promo code with someone else, there's another way that you can get this team playbook, and that's simply by purchasing one through the Flock Fantasy website, where you go ask advice and you see that team review option. There's a pinned comment in the chat with a link. I'll also put another comment in the chat with a link if you are interested. But basically, all you need to do, as I'll hit next question, is go to that link in the chat. You see the team review option. Make sure obviously you've got your Dynasty teams all linked up. And then once you are here, you link up your team. Make sure you choose the right team. Right? Make sure you have the right draft picks. And then you choose Zach and Badaki here. If you want it live, it's just $10 more. But, if you want the offline version as well, where we don't do your review live, that's an option as well. Just those 2 tiers, just $10 extra to get it live. We appreciate you guys big time. And Sean is next here.
By the way, before we move forward, what was the team grade you had for?
Yeah, we actually didn't give him a grade. I'll be honest. I think it's like a C+.
Yeah, that's where
I don't want to be harsh, Cole, but I think honesty is more important than. No, that's why people come here. They're like, you know what, like, how can I improve my team? And let's give some direct, honest feedback. And I think Cole is one of those people who can handle that direct feedback, and he probably recognizes the team isn't exactly where he wants it to be. Maybe it was an orphan, I don't know, but yeah, I'd say it's a rough one.
Yeah, appreciate you though, Cole. Like I said, or like Zach said, you're beginning that within 48 hours in the Flock Fantasy message system there. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But we appreciate you. But we do have the next team review is Sean.
Yes.
And let us know if you are here. This is your team. And I'll read the context here.
Hold on, let me load this up for us.
Okay. We appreciate you, Sean. Zach's pulling that up.
It's this site's bugging a little. Let me get this up. All right, I think we are good to go. Yes, with Sean. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Sean, once again, let us know if you are here. We appreciate you. He says, loves your channel, took over this Dynasty team with a lot of older players, was planning on 2-year rebuild, but Daniels is a stud and traded for Burrow, Irving, and Pacheco and Hurts to compete this year.
Hell yeah.
I need a tight end and running back depth, also a top-tier wide receiver. First this year will be 1 to 3. Second, or your first will be either like picks 1, 2, or 3. Seconds are mid to late. Okay.
Well,
that's fair.
This is a start 11. So this is a depth is king lineup. All right. Depth means a lot, right? You either have 3 starting wide receivers and 4 flex spots, or you have 2 starting wide receivers and 5 flex spots, but you can start up to 7 wide receivers. So depth is very important. Your names like Jordan Addison's, your Khalil Shakir's, these guys mean a lot in this type of format.
Lot, yeah.
Your veteran wide receivers mean a lot in this type of format. Assuming obviously the format is right. But his name is Gasecki of My Neighbors, and he is currently ranked 5th. All right, there are 2 Shaqs at the top here. but you're currently ranked 5th, and you have a record of 4-9. So he said he was planning on doing a 2-year rebuild, but maybe he's saying he feels like next year might be his year. Let's have a look at the team here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, at the quarterback position, remember, it is one quarterback. You have Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, which is interesting because you said you did trade for Joe Burrow. I traded for Burrow, Irving, and Pacheco. So did you trade for Joe Burrow in hopes to compete?
Maybe just for next year, but I don't think he needed Joe Burrow in a one quarterback.
Yeah. So Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Michael Penix, obviously great starting lineup there at the quarterback position. At the running back, Bucky, Irving, Pacheco, Javonte, Tajay, and the list kind of goes down there. So Bucky coming to his own. Pacheco obviously got injured earlier in the season. Javonte Williams kind of feels like a dead asset to me right now. So you having some 25 first-round picks are going to be really helpful for you. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 7 wide receivers in a start 11. Malik Neighbors, Jamison Williams, Keon Coleman, Darnell Mooney, Rashid Shaheed. I mean, honestly, the list goes on. So you really only have 3 starting wide receivers that you have probably been starting on a week-to-week basis. Yeah. Like Malik Neighbors, you were starting on a week-to-week basis. Darnell Mooney, you were starting on a week-to-week basis. And then you were probably flipping between Jamison and Williams on a week-to-week basis, saying, okay, who should... Obviously, you're probably starting both of them, but you probably weren't confident in who to start in those weeks. And at the tight end position, another weakness here, you're currently last according to the Flock Fantasy website at the tight end position. So we definitely got to get you some help there as well. And it looks like you do have your 25 first.
By the way, this is a super flex league. I double checked in KTC's database.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say, because he traded for Joe Burrow, meaning that why would you trade for Joe Burrow if you were trying to compete? So this is a super flex start 11. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, super flex start 11, which again, it's the same format. It's just super flex. As far as, you know, a depth is king lineup. But you start, instead of that extra flex, it's a super flex. So it's actually up to 6 wide receivers, either 3 wide receivers, 3 flex, or 2 wide receivers, 4 flex. But either way, depth is still extremely important. This is a rolling deep lineup. But yeah, sorry, give me a second. I'm just texting the devs about this real quick.
No, and that's good. So it is super flex. Which is going to be key here to understand what that is going to mean as we build and give you advice here as well. Looking at, let's go through untouchables here. And I think your untouchables are most likely going to be 3 to 4 players or 2 to 4 players. I think Jaden Daniels is definitely untouchable.
Both those quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow is untouchable. And then I personally would say Malik Neighbors is also an untouchable.
100%
agree. Which I obviously really like Malik Neighbors because he's a giant. In terms of holds, I think Bucky Irving is a hold.
Yeah,
let me know
I agree.
What
I mean, I have him ranked as a top 12 dynasty running back. I'd definitely say he's a hold. He looks primed to dominate. I mean, I'd put Penix in that territory as well. Yeah.
That's a Michael Penix as a hold. So those would be your 2 holds there. And guys, you can drop. I think you can drop Cooper Rush at the end of the season once it's all said and done. And I would say names like Chris Brooks as well that you can drop just to make room on your starting roster there. So those are 2 drops that we would have once the season is over. But yeah, love some of these players that you have here, which is going to really help your team take you to the next level. And like you said, you are trying to compete. And like Zach always says, you know, we like to be transparent here. I think you do have some pieces to compete, but I don't think it was for this year. Unless you did it for Joe Burrow, like, you know what, I'm going to get Joe Burrow because next year I'm going to compete. But even then, having the draft capital that you have doesn't necessarily tell me that.
Well, I think, just to clarify, I'm confident that he's saying next year he's ready to compete.
Okay.
I'm confident he's
Okay.
saying that because he originally said he thought it was a 2-year rebuild. I think that's why he's saying that.
Yeah, you're right. That is, I was planning 2-year rebuild, but Daniels does. So I traded for Burrow, Irving, and Pacheco in hopes of competing next year. You need tight end and running back depth. I think it's opposite. I think you have the running backs that you have. You need tight end and wide receiver depth. And maybe you are believing that some of these guys are going to take off. Like you think Keon Coleman next year is going to take off. Jamison Williams is going to have another year under his belt in this offense as a full year. You know, maybe you like what Rashid Shaheed was doing, or Jalen Polk was going to take a big step. But for me, it's like I need some more heavy hitters. Not even heavy hitters. Some guys that are going to complement your team.
Yeah.
Whether that are the, you know.
The issue for me is if you want to compete next year, you only have 1 first-round pick. You have 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm not confident in those second-round picks being contributors like I was this year. So there is a little bit of a concern of how to actually make that happen. Because let's say you end up with like a Burden, all right, and then you trade a second for like an Evan Ingram or something. I don't know, just like as an example, right? Still, with your starting lineup, you're in a tough spot. You can start up to, 6 wide receivers. So you'll be starting Neighbors, Jameson, let's say Burden, for example. Keon, if he's decent, Mooney, and then I guess you're going to rely on Shaheed? Are you going to rely on Douglas?
Yeah, that's the thing, and you gotta hope that some of these guys are gonna pop off. Like Jalen Polk, does he take a big step next year? We don't know. Maybe you believe in Andre Yeshivas, but we didn't see that this year. He has Jermaine Burton. It's tough because I think you need still a lot more depth. We're not big Keon Coleman guys, even though he did look a little promising when he was on the field.
Yeah, Keon, he could be an asset at this point. We don't know, but I think if you want to go this route and you want to compete next year, you have to move one of Burrow or Daniels and tear down. I don't see another pathway. Think about it.
I'll be honest, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either, but that's what I'm saying. Like, let's think this through logically. Bucky Irving, I want to build around long term. I want to keep him. But outside of that, we don't know if the Chiefs draft a running back with Pacheco's injury. He looks okay. Do they pay him after that? I don't know. But Javonte Williams, there's no way we can rely on him. We can't rely on Tajay Spears. Nobody wants to trade for Tajay or Javonte. I don't think people want to trade for Pacheco. We can't rely on Jameson. Maybe we can as like a flex, not a wide receiver too.
I think the best.
We can't sell any of these wide receivers for high. Your tight ends are worthless. I think the only way to compete next year is to tear down from a Burrow or Daniels, and I don't want to do that, but I don't see another way to compete next year. Do you?
No. The other thing is, which I kind of see what you're saying there, in the chat, but I think it should be the opposite. I think it should be, we should do seconds for wide receivers instead of running backs, which you actually just put in the chat now. So like, do we have a 26 second, and can we get a Chris Godwin hypothetically? Do we get a 26 second or 25 second and get a Jerry Jeudy if we believe in Jerry Jeudy? Do we buy low on some of these question mark type of wide receivers that could potentially take a bigger next step? I mean, once again, I'm just naming some names, like the Calvin Ridleys, the Josh Downs, the Cortland Suttons. Can we get some of these veteran guys that feel like they are established right now to help our team? Or do we take chances on still some younger people? Like, can we get can we get Brandon Ayuk? Can we get a Ricky Pearsall?
I was gonna say Ayuk. You know, definitely was gonna say Ayuk.
It's just depends on what we can get, or Jordan Addison.
I'd love to say Rashee Rice, but it doesn't make sense if you want to compete next year. He's going to be out probably 6 games with that suspension, is most likely, and coming back from the injury. Love Rashee Rice as a buy low, but I don't know if I'm going to rely on him, straight away next year. So if you want to compete, I think you can tear down from one of these quarterbacks. Not that I want to, but I also think you can buy. Sure, you can buy some vets, but I mean, what we have 2 firsts, we have 1 first, we have 2 seconds, and we have 3 seconds in 2026. So we basically have 5 second rounders from 25 to 26. What's up, Kedar?
What's happening, brother?
He's our head of administration head
Head
of
of administration of Fantasyland Dynasty
LLC.
LLC, 100%.
But yeah, so let's think of some names then that we can go out there and trade for. I'm gonna actually look at expert consensus rankings on the Flock site for Dynasty, and then we can have a look at KTC. But if we look wide receiver, running back, I think veterans that could make sense to buy. Well, first off, I like Josh Downs as like a young name.
100%. I like Josh Downs as well, and he's on team 2, Jerry Royal Stupidity, and he's competing right now. So yes, Josh Downs, Cortland's son, I think could be interesting if he stays with Bo Nix. I don't know about Christian Kirk. I think that's interesting.
I hate Kirk. I would spend a third on Kirk.
Okay, sure. We could try it though, like just to get another name on your team if something does happen the right way.
Yeah, he might be traded. I think they were trying to trade him before last year.
I don't know if you saw.
Sideways.
I don't know if you saw what Keenan Allen said. He was either the Bears or the Chargers. Which, if that is actually true, no matter where he goes, he's gonna get opportunity. Like, imagine if he goes back to LA with Justin Herbert.
Sure.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying he's gonna be a top guy.
Yeah.
But once again, if you can send like a late third for that or a fourth for Keenan Allen, I'll be interested.
I
don't know.
I also added Tank Dell here as like for a second as an option. I really like the idea of that. I wanted to add a Brian Robinson.
Sure.
And I think we'll just do like what running backs and wide receivers make sense as we go through. You couldn't buy Chuba, I don't think, for a second at this point. You couldn't sell him for a first, but you couldn't buy him for a second. How about like the Chris Godwin? I think you said. I like that.
Yeah, I like Chris Godwin. How do you feel about Calvin Ridley?
I'm not convinced they don't.
Like?
I'm not convinced they don't draft someone, but
you're right.
I'm fine with it.
They have like a top 5. They have like a top 5 pick right now. I think they just need so much more than a wide receiver.
That could be a prime spot for a Luther Burden, so it's a little concerning, but I think it's a fair point out. Would you try and pick up Najee for a second, considering he has no contract after this year, and see where he goes? James Conner, who just got that long-term deal. What
else?
Would you buy J.K. Dobbins for a third?
No.
No?
Not in my opinion. Not in this draft class.
Yeah,
I just think the Chargers are going to draft a running back. In my opinion, in the first 3 rounds, J.K. Dobbins most likely is going to be dead. In my opinion.
Yeah. I don't hate Rachaad White, Jay Ganja, but I just think Bucky's the truth. So I'm not sure. I don't think I would want to buy him right now. But Jerry, let's try and buy Jerry for a second.
Yeah, I like Jerry. Who else do we have here? Brian Robinson. I think you said Brian Robinson.
I did. Would you buy into Darnell Mooney or Jacoby Myers? I think we both love Jacoby Myers as a buy.
Yep. I like Darnell Mooney. Here, I said, what about Daniel Jones? Embarrassing.
I'm gonna break this into like vets and young players, by the way. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
You keep going. As you're doing that, I'll keep thinking of some other names. Some veteran guys that can help you. Obviously, we said Chris Godwin. What could be interesting is maybe like a Stephon Diggs.
Ooh, I like that actually.
That's a little bit risky though.
I would try and cop it for 2/3 if I could.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. What same could be said with Amari Cooper. Maybe not for 2/3.
Yeah, sure. Hollywood is interesting, but I'm just not there with Hollywood right now. Man, Jahan Dotson, rest in peace, kid. Good Lord. Yeah, I think that's kind of where my bag ends.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well.
By the way, the Panthers are definitely going to draft a wide receiver. Xavier Legette is just not helping
Well,
Bryce Young.
they have a top 4 pick right now. If the season ended today.
Yeah. What's up, Albert? Welcome in, brother.
How you doing, man?
All right, I think that's a lot of really great ideas. Why don't we highlight 4 of our favorite? I think I really love the Tank Dell and Josh Downs routes, just because they're young and I think they'll be contributors to the roster. What's the 2 that you like the most? I don't think Jennings. I think you'd have to pay 2/3 for Jennings. Now that I think about it, and maybe you'd have to pay a second, which I don't know.
Well, I'll be okay with the 2/3, like Diggs and Amari Cooper, Jennings, if you want to get some more people. And I think actually, yeah, let's do the Diggs and Amari Cooper, Jennings, and then Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Jacoby Myers.
Well, we can only highlight 4, so I need you to choose 2.
Well, those are the 2, like these, like groups. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that works.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's the 2 groups.
But yeah, I think I'll very quickly go through the other route of tearing down from a Joe Burrow. Okay. And again,
Sure.
I do not want to do this. All right. But in a super flex league, if you were to do this, I think you could get an absolute bag, and we want to tear down to a name that is startable, like a Dak Prescott is almost the perfect tear down after getting that contract. In fact, that is maybe the perfect tear down where you're actually going to get value in return. So Dak is a quarterback 3 on this guy's team, so that's fucking useless. Excuse my language.
Family friendly.
I mean, I would do like a Tua tear down. Would you do JSN, Chase Brown, Tua as a package? You'd have to figure out the rest of it. Tua tags, JSN, Chase Brown, and then you would have to send him something to make this work. Like, what, a second? Does that start a conversation? I think that's actually not enough. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it. If I'm doing this, maybe that's too much. I don't think anyone's gonna do. Would you do like Bo Nix and Roma Dunze?
Yeah, I love that. I just don't think that the Bo Nix guy is going to want to sell. I think you have to find someone who wants to sell.
Yeah, you're right. Someone who wants to sell.
I'm just going to keep looking at teams that need a QB.
Well, then what about Drake May and Rashee Rice? They have Kyler Murray, Drake May.
Absolutely perfect. What team is that?
That's Team 3 Wilson Castaway Aways.
Well,
Drake May.
This isn't perfect, sorry, because they have no reason to. They have 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, but
look, I'll put it down there. I think I
can tear up, I guess.
I do love it. I just think they're probably like, I don't need to do this, But I definitely, I'm in agreement with you. If you can get Drake May and Rashee Rice, I love that. That's a great tear down.
Yeah, but it's tough. It's tough when you don't have. What is this? First of all, it's a smaller league and a 10-man league. So.
The other name that could make sense is a Brock Purdy. I'm on drugs. If you can do like a Puka, Purdy, and send a second.
Sure.
Right? I think that that could actually make a lot of sense. And these deals are just giving you that depth that you desperately need. You could probably tear down to Patrick Mahomes, as fucking crazy as that sounds, who we were tearing down all offseason from, if you remember.
All offseason from, yeah. 100%.
But I don't like this guy's assets that you would get in return. I tear down to a Baker, for sure. Like a Baker, Ayuk, Hawkinson tear down.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. Look, once again, we're not in love.
But yeah,
we're not in love with trading Joe Burrow away. But like, if you have to, I understand. I would just play it in the way like, let's see if I can get these vets. And if you're not competing next year, let's just say you trade away Joe Burrow and you want to compete, and these guys don't hit, which will be really rare. That's just unlucky.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's the way the cookie crumbles, as a famous
really
musicer once
quick,
said.
draft capital grade
Yeah.
and team grade as of today.
All right,
Which we
team
didn't
grade
get to.
as of today. Gasecki of my neighbor, right? Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't hate, like, look, there's some very clear holes. You're nowhere near an A. I don't think you're a C plus because you can't be a C plus with those quarterbacks. I think you're a B minus right now. I think you're a B minus. I believe Bucky is like a foundational player. That's maybe where I might disagree.
Bulk it up.
We
Foundational
agree.
player?
Okay. I truly
I'm
believe
saying,
that.
Hey, like, bulk me up.
Yeah. No, Badaki
back
loved
early.
Bucky Irving last year as well. Yeah. And then I think the combine. We have to stop caring about the combine, man.
Dude, yeah, the combine, he like had the slowest 40 for like the smallest guy. And then he fell down draft boards, and he went to a team where, to be honest, Rashad White was going crazy last year, so we weren't really expecting Bucky to have that. The talent was there.
Yeah.
Everything was going against him, so we just need to ride with.
Yeah, I agree. Draft capital grade, because you have 5 seconds, I think you're probably in like the B plus range.
All right, so B plus, and this is like a 1-year punt contender. Or
I'd say you're
sleeper.
a 1-year punt / sleeper.
Yeah.
Hybrid, yeah. Again, we need to make a graphic for these. I'm going to send you a message now. Make graphic for team pathways so people can see what we're saying.
Yeah. So, and positional, it'll be quarterback, and then wide receiver, then running back, then tight end.
Yep.
By the way, we didn't help you at all with getting a tight end really quick.
I don't. That's the last thing I care about.
Well, actually, we did. We gave him one with, like, if you want to sell Joe Burrow, get TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, but tight end, honestly, like, if you wanted to compete, then, like, you could be a week before the season and not have a tight end and figure it out then. Do not worry about that.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Yeah, I feel good about this. Appreciate you, Sean. Let me just do my spiel here. Your team playbook will be sent to the message tab on the Flock site within 48 hours. It will be completely customized to your team with exact advice on how to execute this offseason, man. Appreciate you big time. If you're out there and you guys are watching, you want your team playbook, you can either become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I will put that link in the chat here for you now. All right, that link is in there right now. If you become a yearly member, you get a team playbook. You also get the 2025 rookie draft guide, which will be out before Christmas. The other option is just to use the pinned comment in the chat, and I'll put that link in again to get a team review a la carte. When you're on the team review section, you just have to go that one, like $10 up to get it live. But yeah, appreciate you guys. All right, we have guaranteed one more team tonight, and if there are any other signups, we can see if we have time. But guaranteed one more review tonight from Proofy, and we got his chalkboard already, I think.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we do. We have his chalkboard ready, so we appreciate you, Proofy. Thank you so much for the support. I know you've been a long-time supporter on YouTube and on. I think you've been with us since Patreon days.
I think so. I think Proofy has been since Patreon days. Proofy, were you with us when we were back on Patreon? I think you're an OG. Yeah, you were prior to the merger. That's hilarious. I've never heard someone describe it that way, but that's actually perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, I'm excited to do this one. He's in the chat with us. I always love that.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
He said lost Puka Collins early, went for next year ASAP. Week 4, 2 trades. You sent DJ and Jacobs, and you got JJ McCarthy and a 25 first, which I don't mind, depending on what your team looks like. You sent Hawkinson and Knicks, you got Bowers. Okay. Last trade sent was Tracy, which you picked up off the waiver wires. You picked up Tracy, Chubb, and you got a 25 first. I like that as well. 220 points average, 120 points a week. Losing grants me the 101, averaging 120 points with 6.8 points at running back did I cook.
Love these moves,
Okay.
especially in a one quarterback to send the Knicks Hawkinson deal I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, no question.
I don't know that I love the JJ McCarthy deal in a one quarterback league though. Let me just double check.
Is it one quarterback, Proofy? Yeah. Can you let us know if it is one quarterback? Because it does say one quarterback, 10 team. I
just talked to our devs, by the way. They know this problem. They're going to fix it. But I realized, Badaki, that if you actually look at the My Review tab, instead of live streamer mode, it'll show the right thing. So this is actually Superflex 10-team start 9. So this would be a meat and potatoes. It's your pretty standard. He's probably got 2 flexes.
Does it say? Oh yeah, okay. League settings. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, just so we know we have a resource right now. But here's the good news, Proofy. In my rankings, and this is what you guys see when you come to our reviews, I guess. You are number 1. You are Himothy. But you're 3 and 10, so this will be interesting. In a meat and potatoes lineup, I really don't care that much about depth. Like I will. I'll send like a first and Addison before the year to try and go get like a Nico Collins before he broke out, like that type of vibe. But let's have a look at the team here. It is super flex. Love the quarterback room. Probably wish we would have sold Mahomes last offseason. He's no longer a sell, but that's okay. This is still a very good quarterback room. And you, like me and like Badaki, have probably been waiting for Bryce Young to do something. And it's fun to see him revive himself, even if that's the tiniest version of it. Running back room is cheeks, and you know that. Absolute cheeks. At wide receiver, though, what the hell? This is incredible. Nico, Neighbors, Puka, JSN, Jameson. And we'll pretend like you didn't draft Xavier Worthy. Instead, we'll pretend like you got Ladd McConkey or Brian Thomas. Okay. At tight end, Brock Bowers. I mean, the only weakness of this, there's no way you're not competing next year. The only weakness is running back. And he's got the 101 confirmed. He just said that. So
you confirm Ashton there. Okay, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Okay, I like this a lot. So he has confirmed 101. He also has Ohio versus everybody in Yorkshire's first. Ohio versus everybody is 10 and 3. Yorkshire's first is 8 and 5. So those are 2 late firsts. But still, he has all his picks in 2026. I like this, dude. You are, oh my God, you're primed to dominate this league for a long time. All the needs are in the draft for you. All your needs are in the draft.
Crazy.
I'm going to give this I'm going to say he's going to add Ashton Genty. And with the quarterback depth, you can move one of those names. This is an A+.
I think it could be an A+.
Okay, it's an A at minimum.
It's A at minimum, depending on who the QB2, the RB2 is going to be. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Because you get Ashton, cool. Who's going to be RB2 then?
You could send somebody that's going to late first for so many veteran running backs.
But yes, I think it's A+, which I'm okay to put A+. I was just, giving my.
No, I mean, look, like there. I'm very confident Genty won't bust, but there's a chance he does. So you're still a what if. I'm gonna say an A+.
Yeah.
You can put A. I don't mind either way. But as far as like path forward, is this our first Thanos?
This actually might be our first Thanos here.
I mean,
I think so.
With the draft capital in particular, I think this team, you add Ashton Genty. Like, let's just say that this team has Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, and Trey Henderson, right?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know, man. That seems Thanos-like to me.
No, I agree, and I think I see you, Proofy, and that's kind of where one of my thought process here, which we could probably just jump right into, maybe, is getting Ashton Genty and seeing what I can get for 25 first at the running back position to easily compete. Can I get, and I'm okay to go an older guy or a younger guy, and you said Breece Hall. Can I get Breece Hall? Can I get a Joe Mixon? Can I get, I personally like the likes of James Cooks. Can I get I doubt you can get Jahmyr Gibbs or Devon, like those type of names. I'm my RB2. I want it to be a veteran, and I think you moving Josh Jacobs is like, ooh, it kind of hurts you here. But you got that 25 first in return, but you got JJ McCarthy.
I think Miles makes a pretty decent point. Like, we have seen teams. I feel like a Thanos should be very rare. I think he's close to it. I actually kind of like. I've been thinking about that since I said it. I think he's more contender than Thanos. I feel like a Thanos is like you have.
Sure.
You already had. He would already had a Bijan and a Brees on his team. Do you know what I mean? Like I actually think he's a contender, which is the second highest tier you can be in our grades. I think you're a contender. You could be a Thanos, but I think he makes a fair point. I think we should reserve that for, the absolute clear top, because you can't be a Thanos and be this close in the rankings to your other teams. So I think that's a fair point. Let's make that change. By the way, I see Matthew. I see a super chat. I just want to let you know, Matthew, we'll get to this right after we finish this team review. I promise you, my man. Just want to make sure we give Proofy his time for supporting as well. But yeah, this is a fantastic team, by the way. I mean, you could very easily be a Thanos if you keep going the way you are. But you said the 101 Ashton Genty late first. You could shop for a, number one,
like a veteran.
Yeah, like an RB1, basically is what I'm trying to say, right?
Sure.
But I don't know that you really need to. I really think that this running back class is so strong. I think the answers will be there for you in the draft, and they'll be young answers. You could send away a first for like a Jacobs, but what if you draft Amari on there or Caleb Johnson and they end up being exactly what Jacobs is, but they're 6 years younger? I'm a little bit hesitant, I think.
Okay. Look, I can understand that. I'm okay either way, whichever way you want to go, Proofy. If you want to go with the veteran guy and just get an absolute name, or you wanted to get into the mix with these younger running backs. The only reason why I say this is because if you want to solidify it, I think we both feel comfortable in Ashton Genty and knowing what he is going to be doing next year. Look, and Zach knows more about the running back prospects now, but like, what if Hampton does go to a good landing spot, but it's like, all right, he has to wait another year because he is behind the James Conner like Trey Benson. We like Trey Benson, but he goes behind somebody.
I think that's a fantastic point, and I'm actually putting this on the chalkboard now. My main piece of advice is wait to decide if you want to sell your late first or keep your late first until the NFL draft, when you know what the draft capital is. Let's say we have one running back in the second round, which, by the way, we're going to have a running back in the first round. We might have multiple running backs in the first round. We might have 3 in the second round. We might have 4 in the round. I don't know. I think we're going to have a lot. I mean, I really do. Now, if that doesn't happen, let's sell these firsts. But if 3 running backs go in the first round and 5 go in round 2, there's literally no reason to sell these firsts. Every answer you have is already in the draft capital, in your late first. So I really think that is a good advice. But let's play out selling the first, okay? So for example, the draft is here, and you're like, ooh, okay, we had Genty in the first, but we only had 1 in the second, and the rest were kind of third-round picks. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's play that out, all right? So if you were to send a, late 25 first, let's talk about some targets. And yeah, I kind of feel like there's a range that we should stay in here at running back. So, for example, I think CMC would be perfect if you're actually going to go out and compete. I think Josh Jacobs would be perfect. I think Jonathan Taylor would be perfect. I don't know what you think, Badaki, but I would actually prefer Bucky Irving as the target over any of these names. Maybe I'm way too high on Bucky Irving. I don't know. But I would, if I'm going to send a late first, I would rather it be Bucky. Let me know where your mind is here on that. I mean,
I guess
would you not?
Figured maybe. I'll go. Sorry, I figured maybe you can go, depending on how you feel. Proofy, like these are guys in this range. I think the only one I would change is CMC.
Okay.
Like I'm really hesitant on CMC. I would change that for a Joe Mixon. I would change that for,
Okay.
and once again, these are older. That's an older prospect. A Joe Mixon, a Derrick Henry. You said Josh Jacobs. Those are the guys that I would be more comfortable with.
Yeah. I'd send 2 seconds for CMC again if he's actually going to sell these picks and try and compete. I don't mind doing that myself. But yeah, I think that's
Saquon. I think Saquon's great.
I think Saquon's going to cost 2 late firsts. I don't think you get.
You know what? You're right.
one.
I don't think you get Saquon for one first. But yeah, that's kind of the range, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with the Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon has been going crazy right now, and I think that continues.
Derrick Henry's a little
he's
too
on 3
old, but
ESPN.
maybe we'll put Henry in that CMC range.
Sure.
I mean, Alvin, I'd prefer to buy over Henry with that
I agree.
extension.
I like Alvin.
I bought Tyrone
Yeah.
for a late first and a contender when CMC went down, but I'm not sure I'd buy him if I wasn't contending.
If you wasn't contending, yeah, I understand that. I think those
We
are the
didn't
names.
we didn't say
Those
Ken
are-
Walker. I don't know how long they let Charbonnet rot. So I'm getting a little worried about Ken Walker. I'm not convinced that he's the clear better running back anymore.
I mean, I'm about to see where he's at right now and keep trade cut. I was just looking up some other stuff. He's RB7 on keep trade cut. That's
Yeah,
kinda crazy.
exactly, Proofy. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're truly competing, like CMC gives you this type of upside that not many people do. He has the extension he signed before the year, but I think these are all fine options. I mean, let's say what you did, like let's say hypothetically, right? You went at the 101, Genty. You sent a late first. And you got, let's say, Josh Jacobs as an example. Then you took that other late first and you turned that into Travion Henderson. And then let's say you turned 2 seconds into CMC. Let's just say hypothetically you did this. Well, you might not need that many running backs. It might be a bad use of. Honestly, though, meat and potatoes, I think you can't have enough running backs. But, I mean, your team now, we go back to your team. Okay, you have enough quarterback help. You're fine. But then you have Genty, Jacobs, Henderson, CMC. Don't even need Genty to pop off yet. Then you have Nico, Neighbors, Puka, Jason, and your flex, Bowers. You're set. You're ready to compete. So that's a hypothetical. Maybe the best answer is to send a first and draft a player. I like this a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense. The only other thing I was going to say is we could maybe trade one of these quarterbacks. Would you be willing to trade a Jared Goff?
I guess.
I don't think
he
we can
feels
sell
more-
Mahomes right now.
I feel like if you sell Mahomes, you're not solidifying your quarterback too, because I think JJ now is, yes, he's a second year, but he's still a rookie. If that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
on the field.
But do you not
So
feel
that-
like with McCarthy and Young, there's enough there to risk selling Goff?
No, there is.
But you don't need to, is what you're saying.
I think exactly. I think that's what basically what I'm trying to say is that risks your upside.
Okay. I think your untouchables are Nico Collins, Neighbors, Bowers.
Nico, Neighbors, Bowers.
And you could probably put Puka there as well. I think your holds are Jerry Jeudy and JJ McCarthy. I think your drops, you can drop Emmanuel Wilson whenever you please at this point. I think that's your only drop, to be honest. Sean Tucker, if you need space after the draft. Or actually, you could drop Keaton Mitchell over Sean Tucker.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's a great team. I kind of obsessed with the team, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this is good. What you have here and what we kind of offered. Positional priorities, because this is a super flex league. What we're gonna do: quarterback first, then wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd say quarterback,
then
wide receiver, running back, tight end. Yeah, it's close between running back and wide receiver for 2.
Exactly.
I also think for what Bucky has done, they'd want more than a late first. Yeah, look, some people might say, well, he shares a backfield with Rachaad White. Some people are willing to do that. Some people aren't. You know, it'll come down to your league. No harm in sending that. You know, I mean, what if you send that and then they send back a pick swap where they want a second and you send a third, or you send the second, you get a third. You know, those are the type of deals that you can negotiate. Or they're like, you know what, I want Jerry Jeudy as well, and I'll give you a third. You know, you can kind of negotiate from there.
What's this? A good I would say this is like a B plus draft capital.
Yeah, I'd put B plus.
Yeah, 3 firsts. 3 firsts right now, I think that's
I'd say A minus. You got 4 firsts in the next 2 years. Nah.
Okay.
Nah, let's stick to B plus. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love this team. Proofy. Obsessed with it. Thank you for letting us review it. This has been an honor. This has been a pleasure. Proofy, do you have any questions, anything that we haven't answered, and anything that you want us to talk about that we haven't? Let us know now. But I'm really a fan of this team. Hit us up. He says, yes, I do. He said it's not a lot, but it's honest work. Yeah, Proofy said if it wasn't for Puka Nika going down, I was going for a second. By the way, Matthew, I still see your question. I haven't forgot about you. I just want you to know that I haven't forgot about you.
Breeze, cheap, yeah, Badaki. I think even, if I'm not mistaken, been trying to get Breeze off me.
Dude,
I've been waiting for the playoffs.
I know. I think if he's back and healthy, I think he'll finish off the season strong.
I just think the expectations.
I'm a little concerned about a second contract. I'm not gonna lie, but
well, my thing is, I just think the expectations was just way too high on the Jets, and it got to them. So like, for failure, the fact that they failed is just like they're a shit team. I think it just went. I don't know, it just went all to shit. But I think Breece Hall is still talented. When he was getting the opportunities, it was there. What really hurts is the offensive line. Even though they have fucking talent on the offensive line, it's still shit. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that's a whole nother rant I can go on with the Jets.
Yeah.
You draft offensive line, you go trade for offensive linemen, and it's still bad. Yeah, I am a hard person. Sorry, brother. But we appreciate you, Proofy. Once again, let us know if you have any other questions. This is a great team. I'll send that to you within 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy message tab there. So please let us know if you have any other questions. But you'll be able to download the PDF of your team or your playbook on there. Okay, so we appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure Zach might be messaging Jay McDonald. We appreciate you too, Jay McDonald. If you are here, we see your team review as well. Let's see. Maybe if you are here, let us know, because maybe we might be running out of time right now. We got to go prep for some videos and some content. But if you're happy to wait until next week, or we can potentially do it tomorrow on the redraft channel,
I have no problem reviewing it now.
No problem doing it now?
No, if he wants. I mean,
I don't know if he's here.
He bought the live version. Yeah, let us know if he is here.
I feel like that might. I don't know why, but I feel like we definitely did one of his. But let's answer.
If you are here, Jay McDonald, just let us know. And we'll do it right now if you want. He says he's here. Awesome.
Okay.
But why don't we first answer Matthew's super chat, because he's been waiting. He says, appreciate you both. 12-team Superflex tight end premium. I got the 6th seed with 4 firsts and could make a run. Trade deadline is tonight. Would you give 2 late firsts for Henry and Sutton? Oh, I don't like that. I'd give a late first and a second. for sure.
Yeah, I think for Sutton, I think it is a reach. I think I would just do a first for Henry if you are trying to make it. I would do a first for the Joe Mixons. I think kind of the names that we said earlier today, the Joe Mixons, the Josh Jacobs, if you're trying to compete right now. The Jonathan Taylors, the
I think
James
that
Cooks.
could so easily fall apart. And I was team buy Derrick Henry this offseason. I was team draft him and redraft. Wasn't team Sutton, I'm not going to lie to you. But I think that trade could fall apart so quickly. We don't know how long Derrick's going to be able to hang on. And we don't know if, like, what if they don't sign Sutton to a long-term deal? What if they draft Luther Burden? What if they draft Tet? What if they draft, Travis Hunter and want him to play wide receiver? So I think if there was a long-term deal in place, it'd be easier to say yes. But I wouldn't spend too late first on that package. It'd be a late first and a second, I would do. Or send them, trying to see like your team. No, I mean you really can't. Yeah,
my team.
It'd have to be a late first and a second.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Thank you for being patient there, Matthew. Let us know if you have any other questions. We're happy to answer that if you are still here. But
yeah.
Jay McDonald.
By the way,
appreciate you, man.
I just wanted to let Proofy know again. Your team playbook is going to be sent to the DMs on Flock Fantasy, the message tab, within 48 hours. Just want to let you know. All right, guys. If you want your team reviewed, very simple. There's two ways you can do it. You can become a yearly member with the promo code LAND, a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. The other option is by just buying one outright. If you're on a different promo code or you just don't want to become a member, I'll put both those links in the chat. You go to the team review section, and the base tier is an offline review. And if you want to get it reviewed live, just like Jay McDonald did here, it's just $10 extra to guarantee it live. But we appreciate y'all. Yeah, let's do Jonathan's here. I don't mind going slightly into Monday Night Football here, and then this will be the last one for today.
And we appreciate you, John. Thank you so much. He says, new to Dynasty and need help. Superflex extra 0.2 per carry. What do I do? So this is a 2-quarterback start 8 league. Okay.
Well,
McRice-Aroni.
And it's a 12 team, right?
12 team, yeah. 2-quarterback, 12 team start 8.
Okay, so that's going to be a heavy hitters. That's about it. That's as small as it gets in a super flex. Can you confirm, John, that it's a start 8 in a super flex? Because that is about as small as it gets. That means you'd have 1 flex and 1 super flex. So you can start 3 wide receivers or 3 running backs. Can you confirm that for us, John? But I think that's correct.
That is correct, especially if you go into the front tab. It says 2-quarterback, 12 team start 8 PPR.
Okay.
So I'm just going to assume that is correct until he does respond. But you are currently ranked 11th out of 12th in this league, so it looks like we might have some work to do, which is okay. That's why we're here.
And you definitely have a Thanos based off the rankings. That's definitely a Thanos.
You have. This is the guy that's taking advantage of you guys that no one knows what they're doing.
That doesn't look like a Thanos to me, to be honest.
No, it doesn't. So start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers.
So there's no flex.
Okay.
There's only a super flex. There's no actual flex. There's only a super flex, right? Yeah.
And no tight end either. So he doesn't have that. He doesn't have to start a tight end.
Yeah. Is there no tight end as well, John? Just clarify for us. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. At the quarterback position, Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, Will Levis. Tight end premium, my bad. Okay, so you do have a tight end.
Yeah, okay. So no flex. It's just a super flex. But so you have to start 3 wide receivers. That's important. In this format, let's just say it before we begin, Badaki, depth, we don't give a fuck. All right? I don't care. All right? Your Keon Coleman, I don't give a shit about in this format. I'm sorry. I'm being so rude today.
This guy, what the hell's wrong with you?
I don't care about Ramondre Stevenson. I don't care about Cedric Tillman. I don't care about Troy Franklin and, Jalen Wright. I don't care about Christian Watson. I couldn't care less in this format. So let's keep that in mind as we go through this review. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, Will Levis. So not the strongest room. Look, obviously Dak Prescott and Anthony Richardson are decent. Let's see what Anthony Richardson does to end the season and what's going to look like next year. But I don't think this is the strongest room. Technically, not according to expert consensus ranking. Currently ranked 12th.
Could be worse, but it's definitely not.
Yeah, it definitely could be worse.
It's definitely not a league-winning quarterback room right now.
No. At the running back position, Isaiah Pacheco, Jonathan Brooks, and Blazes Balking with Blake Form, and so on and so forth.
Brooks
Not
is hard.
too much of up. And sorry, continue.
That's all right. You've also got Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, Devonta Smith, Tillman, McMillan. I like that. Hey, where are my McMillan lovers at? Finally, we saw some life. On Sunday, 2 tuds. TJ Hawkinson, Ben Sinnott. You know, to be honest, like in a tight end premium, I love that you have TJ Hawkinson. His draft capital, he has a first, which isn't his own. Oh no.
Oh no. Who has you first? Let me go to Thanos and see it. No, okay, you're lucky.
Let me
Sly,
see.
Team two, Slymick?
Oh, he has your first. So I think you're in a league with people who have played Dynasty for a while and you're the newer guy. And I think they're taking advantage of you. Let me know if that is right or wrong. That's what it sounds like, because that's typically what we see from a team who has a very bad record and doesn't have their own first round pick. Because typically we would say, look, your record's bad. At least you might have a chance at Ashton Genty. But no, your record's bad and you don't even benefit from it. Jay Waters is who he has.
Jay Waters.
And that guy's 18-8, so it's going to be a late first. I mean, that sucks. That sucks for this guy. Draft capital, I'd put at like a. This is like maybe B-, maybe C+.
Yeah, you still have a first. I'll put B- here. Team grade as of today.
Oh, I don't want to be mean, but I want to be honest. This is
my initial thought went to like a D. Maybe that's too harsh. I think
after Brooks went down, it's tough to
see who you're going to be starting next year. And look, you could have.
I think C-, because
C-,
he still has 3 startable quarterbacks in Superflex.
Yeah, 3 startable quarterbacks.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
You can't give a Jamar Chase team a D. I think C-.
I would say this is maybe just like a full rebuild. I don't know if a 1-year punt is enough for this team.
Yeah, I think I agree, because we don't have the assets to improve this year because we don't even have our own first round pick.
No.
I think this is a full rebuild.
Yeah, full rebuild here.
So there's going to be a lot of information here, and I think you need to take it in stride. So let's say this. Yeah, obviously full rebuild, but when to sell each player. All right, so let's start off with Dak Prescott. The absolute worst time to sell Dak Prescott is right now. We want to sell Dak Prescott maybe even like week 3 of next year. Do you know what I mean? Weeks, like I would say like August at earliest, 2025 August.
Yeah, a lot of people like the hype of Dak and CDs. Dak and CD are back, or if they do get Ashton Genty, people are gonna love Dak Prescott maybe. So it could even be early August.
I think Anthony Richardson was a name you and I were selling most of the offseason, but his hype has died down, so I think it'll be tougher. I think actually we haven't gone through this yet. A-Rich is actually a strong hold for this team. Why wouldn't you just see what he could be? The time to trade has already passed. I think you hold him. I think you hold Rashee Rice. He's actually perfect because he'll be suspended probably 6 games. He won't contribute to you winning games next year, which you don't want to do in a full rebuild anyway. So I think those are my 2 holds. Anthony Richardson, Rashee Rice.
And then Untouchables is obviously just Jamar Chase.
Untouchable is Jamar Chase. You could trade him, though. I mean, I don't think we have an untouchable on this team. I think if we want to go full rebuild, we can try and get like 4 first-round picks for Jamar Chase to trigger that.
Okay. And then obviously easy drops will most likely. I mean, there's potentially a lot of drops here. I was gonna say Laviska Chenault, you can drop. You can also drop.
Yeah, Chenault's easy.
Keaton Mitchell, you can drop.
I'd also add David Moore into there. I think you keep Sincere McCormick for sure.
David Moore.
But let's go down the route of a Jamar Chase trade. Was there anything else we need to identify before I move forward?
No.
Okay.
I think that's everything.
Let's go down the route of a Jamar Chase trade. You know, I put here, and this will be on the chalkboard, I put you can sell Jamar Chase anytime someone meets your asking price. And I need to tell you this, John, don't let anyone bully you into lowering your asking price. You do not need to sell Jamar Chase. You can still build around young elite players. But in order to trigger this rebuild and give yourself a chance to actually have some sort of capital to build with long term, he is the player that everybody's going to want in your league. But that doesn't mean they get him at a discount because you need to rebuild, all right? You don't have to sell this guy, but if someone meets your asking price, then you can sell him. And the asking price is 4 first-round picks. In my opinion, 4 first-round picks. And you can look at all these teams who have screwed people over, right? For example, the second best team in this league has 2 first-round picks in 25. They have a first-round pick in 26. They have a lot of great players. You've got Grand Rapids, who has 2 firsts and a third next year, or a third first next year. It's either 4 first-round picks or 3. Plus young players, or a package, which we will explain. Okay, so let's play out the package role. All right, so you are sending away Jamar Chase. I don't know if your trade deadline has happened yet or not, but assuming it hasn't, let's look at a team that would be a Jamar Chase buyer. So, for example, a team that is weak at wide receiver but has a great record, like Fly Like Mahomie. Oh, this is perfect.
Fly like my homie, kid.
So deadline was 2 weeks ago. That's okay. You'll have to do this trade in the offseason, but just to set you up. You know, I don't know that this guy has actually anything to... This guy doesn't have the facilities to make a deal. His team isn't good enough to make a deal. This guy's is. So, for example, you could get really creative with this guy, actually. You have Dak. So what you could do is you can do a deal around Rome Odunze. It would be Odunze, his 26 first. And it'd have to be like Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott swap. I just don't think that happens.
No.
Yeah, this isn't going to work, actually.
Look, I was in a situation like this before. I don't know if you remember, like, the golf league.
I do remember
like,
that, yeah.
I think it was the golf league, and everyone was after Jamar Chase. It just has to be, someone is going to overpay. You have to be patient. If someone's going to come and compete, and your team, let's just say you have no one else that you can really add on your team. You add a second-round running back and Tet McMillan on this team, and everyone's like, look, you're not going to compete. Sure. Like Zach already said, you need the right pieces, and they're going to overpay. They will overpay. You have to be patient. And make it a bidding war. I don't know how active your team is in trades, John, but when somebody sees the first, the number one wide receiver on a team that is probably not competing, they're going to try and do everything they can to get him on their team. So,
yeah, I think if you do like Garrett Wilson in 3 first, you send Chase in a second, fine. And this might seem crazy to some people, but guys, this is a start 8 super flex. Jamar Chase is worth the world in this league.
Yeah.
With the depth, he's worth so much.
And that's another thing. Like Zach said earlier when we first started, this is a smaller league. We call it heavy hitters. What does heavy hitter means? Heavy hitters are the guys that are going to be getting you the most points on a week-to-week basis. You know, Jamar Chase is a heavy hitter, right? You're not going to be sending away Jamar Chase, or like Zach said, you're not going to get, you know, a Keon Coleman, a Jawan Jennings, just because you need a wide receiver. You have to get the best of the best on this team. And if it's not first-round picks, then it's the best of the best, no matter where that position is, right? Like, you know, can you get Bijan and, like, they're probably not on the same team, but hypothetically, John, can you get Bijan and Garrett Wilson for Jamar Chase? Can you get, that's probably not possible, but you get what I'm saying. Just trying to give you examples of what we mean by that. Because like you did say, you are new to Dynasty, trying to give you the understanding there.
Here's a great team that makes a lot of sense. Squeezy, who has Puka Nacua and a first. Could you squeeze out Kendre Miller there as well? Could be 25 or 26. Maybe you take his 25 first because he's a bad team. That makes it worth it. I think JSN is an interesting name. Like a JSN, Walker, and a first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
That's like at minimum what you should be asking in return. I mean, you might even be able to ask for like a Josh Downs there as well. You know, like I don't think that's a crazy ask in this format. We have to, again, keep in mind, in this format, Jamar Chase should cost the world. Someone should have to double overpay for him. How about Neighbors and a first and Tank Dell?
Yeah. Heavy hitters.
I mean, would you tear down to Marvin? I think I would do the same. You know, Marvin plus your own. What about that? Would you do Jamar Chase for Marvin Harrison Jr. plus his 2025 first, which we think is probably the 101. So when you think about it, it's actually Ashton Genty. Would you do Marvin and Ashton Genty for Jamar Chase?
Yeah, that's right. And then he'll be like, oh, damn, I have Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
You might be able to even ask for something else. Like, you might even be able to ask for a, like a second, you know, a 26 second or something as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, you only do that deal if your first is actually the 101. You know that, not for the 102. Yeah. I would think Drake London is a fine tier down. I just don't want this guy's first round picks because they're all going to be late. Yeah. So maybe you go CeeDee Lamb. Maybe it's a great time to buy CeeDee Lamb here. Jamar Chase for CeeDee Lamb plus a first. It sounds crazy, but again, in a small format like this, it's not that crazy.
No, not at all.
So again, we don't need to sell Dak Prescott yet because his value is at an all-time low. He just signed a long-term contract. You can hold him until the offseason where things kind of pile up. For Jamar Chase, anytime someone meets, you know, your price, I actually think that 4 first-round picks worth of value is not a bad ask at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, is there anything that we missed here, Badaki?
No, we have everything. We have his untouchables. Positional priorities, like we said, in the 2 quarterback smaller league, it'll be quarterback, running back, wide receivers, and tight ends. I think all those positions are pretty evenly prioritized outside of tight end there. But no, we have.
I don't think Will Levis is a sell either. If Casey's wondering, I mean, I don't think this is a very good quarterback class. I think the Titans will give him another year. He's a better hold than anything.
Yeah, agreed.
You could sell Pacheco for sure. I think that's the last thing we'll talk about here. You could definitely sell Pacheco. Like, I'd say this for Isaiah Pacheco, a small league like this, any future first, I think you take it. You don't need to build around a running back if you're in a full rebuild mode. I think as well, TJ Hawkinson, I don't think you have to sell, but if you were to sell in a tight end premium, I think you need a mid first at late. But I would say in like 2026, so you might want to hold him.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
John,
man, we appreciate
John, if
you.
you're
Let
in
us
the
know if
chat,
you have any questions.
yeah, please let us know if there's anything we didn't cover well enough, John. But I am sorry that, it might not be exactly what you wanted to hear. I hope you hear where we're coming from, where, we think honesty is more important than anything else. Again, it's not meant to be an attack on you or anything, but I mean, the reality is we see this all the time. We see people join a Dynasty League, their friends take advantage of them because they might be more experienced in Dynasty, and then they're trying to figure out how to dig themselves out of that hole. We saw it in our own home league, Badaki.
That's right. People always take advantage of people.
It happens. So anyway, John, if you're watching still, let us know if there's anything that we didn't cover, my man. CeeDee Lamb just scored a touchdown, apparently.
Yeah.
John says, love the analysis, boys. 2026 will be staying Jeremiah Love. Yes. I love it. I love it.
Nice.
Honestly, 2026 is a good goal. Build towards that draft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Build towards that
Awesome,
draft.
man.
But we appreciate you big time. Again, your playbook is going to be sent to the message tab on Flock Fantasy where that review is within 48 hours. Appreciate you big time, man. It'll be obviously customized to everything we said today. We do appreciate you big time, dude. Hey, big shout out to everybody. We appreciate you. Appreciate all the love. This was a great stream. Go check out my 2025 wide receiver rookie rankings on the page this morning or this afternoon. It released about 4 or 5 hours ago. And we'll see you guys soon. All love. We appreciate all of you guys. Let's go watch Monday Night Football.
Love.